Hey guys, welcome to Fearless Mods. I'm Biff, and today we're just going to do a quick video on how to upgrade your headlights on your Nissan Titan or Armada to LED. It can be nice new headlights like our spec-ds or your old nasty yellow ones. Your pick. Stay tuned. As far as tools you'll need, you need this long screwdriver flat blade to be able to get the grille off. You're gonna need a Phillips for some of the fender liner. Got our 1/4" ratchet with an 8mm and a 10mm. Doesn't hurt to have a light. When it comes to putting in the load equalizer, if you're gonna do that, we used a test light. Got some 3M tape and some pliers to crimp down the connections. And we got the small lugga-dugga because there are a couple of those 8mm that you can speed the process up on. As for what we'll be installing, we've got the 9005s for the high beam, LEDs from Sylvania, the 9006 for the low beam, and we got some load equalizers, which more on that later. These are quite pricey. Got them at AutoZone for these two, this one at O'Reilly's. And they're about $100 for each box here, another $20 for this guy, and the last guy here, which I've already opened up, the 3157As for the amber LEDs for the turn signals, about another 20 bucks. Okay, so the first thing we got here on the grill are these little releases that allow you to take it off. You just get your long screwdriver in there, give it a 1/8 of a turn or a 1/4 of a turn, and it pops in like that. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 up top, and then about 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. And now that we've got those undone, we should be able to just pull that thing straight off like this, and we can just take these out.
We will install them like this. So we'll take this, it's got to go in sideways so the square lines up with the hole, but you're trying to push that in front of it. So what I do is I give it a tilt like this at a little bit of an angle, and then push it in and rotate it up into place up against this stop. Just be careful with them because they are old and brittle and you don't want to break them. There are 4 more. These guys, these 2 here, and then same thing on the other side. As you can see, I was able to pull it off without dealing with those. Otherwise, you would have to try to come in here from the side and do something here to get to them, because you have no access to the front of them through here. So there's really no way to get in there and detach those. For now, these 7 are all reinstalled and ready for us to just push this on when the job is complete.
Now, using the 8mm, we'll remove these 2 bolts right here, and we'll go ahead and take this guy off. Pull the headlight out once we're there. So luckily I have this beautiful rough country lift kit. If you haven't done that to yours or want to see how to do it, check out the video here. Because I'm lifted, I can get in here and get this screw, just the Phillips. That removed, we can now pull the fender liner back. In fact, I'll probably just try to tuck up behind the wheel a little bit there to give us some access. And then we got 2 more. We got the 10mm right there, and then an 8mm that's reversed coming towards us right here, and those would be the last 2 to release our headlight. Okay, and with that one out, this guy will just pull, we'll tilt it up because of the fender and rotate it and bring it out. Okay, now we have this out, setting on something soft here so I don't scratch the front. We can remove our high beam, just a 1/4 turn to the left and pull it out.
And then we're just going to remove it from the clip here. There we go. And then do the same thing here with our low beam and remove it from the entire thing. So high beam, low beam. We will go ahead and take out, again, another little quarter turn, pop out our turn signal, and just pull that amber incandescent bulb straight out. I'm just going to wipe off any finger grease off of it. You don't like to touch any of this higher temperature stuff. The turn signal should be fine, but you like to keep it oil free. And just pop it in there. One thing to note about these is LEDs control, they only let power flow through one way. And there's no markings on here, but if you put this in backwards, it may not light up. So you may have to take it out and flip it over. And it goes in both ways, as you can see. So just stick it in there and possibly plug it into your vehicle just to check it and make sure that it's flashing before you move on to the next step. Set it up here like this with this bulb hanging out. Try not to scratch anything up. Plug in real quick. And it is not on. Pull that guy out and flip him around. And there we go. Now we're working. Okay, now we know that that's working. We'll pull that guy back out and set it back down here. I'll wipe it off one more time in case I was touching it under there. And the next thing we're going to do on this guy is insert a load equalizer. We did this on the taillights. We didn't do it up front because we didn't need it. And we're going to need a place to put it. Just looking for a place where we can stick it where it won't interfere with anything. And this is all underneath and behind. So what I think I'm going to do is just stick it kind of right there along that line. And then that should work. You can do a couple things when this happens. So the LED doesn't pull as much wattage, right? So the vehicle interprets that as having a bulb out, so it goes to the hyper flash mode. They flash extremely fast. On a regular bulb, you would know you need to replace it and then it would return to normal. But this one, it's low wattage. It thinks it's lost a bulb. So it needs a load equalizer. This is a 6 ohm resistor, but it dissipates all the heat that the incandescent bulb normally would dissipate. And therefore they say that it should be secured to a metal surface. I know that we didn't do that in the back. We probably don't need to do it to this. So I'm toying with the option of placing it right here on the headlight, or potentially just screwing it right here inside the headlight opening. And then my wires will be able to reach over here. The flasher's up here on the top. And there is some extra wiring associated with these that I can utilize to be able to reach this. It would have to be connected before the headlight's installed. And so that will be a little more challenging. So the question is, do I really need to do this? Do I just put it here and have it contained with the unit and let it dissipate the heat off of its, normally? It's a 3157. It's not a headlight, extremely high brightness and wattage or whatever. I'm thinking I could probably just get away with putting it right here, keeping it simple so that when we remove the headlight in the future and we forget about this guy, we know that we can, it all comes out in one assembly. So let's do that and keep checking which wires we need to put it on. All right, so the black wire is going to be the common wire. And then between the red and the blue, one of them is for the parking lamp, which stays on all the time, and that works fine. And the other's for the blinker, which is going to be the one that is having the flashing hyper problem and needs the equalizer. So we got to figure out which one of these two wires is furnishing the blink signal. Tracing the blue and the red wires over here to the connector, you can see that we only have one blue and one red. And the red and the blue are in the bottom closest to the truck connections. So bottom closest to the truck, so these two. And I'm just going to try to do this simply with a light tester. So we will connect to chassis ground. Okay, we have the parking lights on and a blinker on. I might need to turn the key on further. So that looks like the parking lamp one.
and that would be the red line. I'm going to assume this one is our blinker, which is the blue line. And sure enough, so there's our hyper flash for the blinker. It's the middle one, or the blue, and then there's our red one, which is the parking light. So it needs to go on the blue line. Spray a little bit of brake cleaner on a rag here. Clean up our plastic where we're going to stick it. Clean up the back of this, and then I'm just going to use some 3M tape here. So unlike the LED, it doesn't matter which direction this goes in, so our orientation doesn't matter. So it's about right there. Give it a good press for 30 seconds. That should be on there good. And now we just got to connect in. I can go ahead and put this guy in. Here we go, nice and level. All we got to do is connect up our wire to the black and the blue. So one of them goes all the way through, and one of them just goes up to the stop. Fold this over. Sure feels squished. All right, there's one. You can see how on here, one of them passes all the way through. That's gonna be the blue or the black wire that's on here. You don't wanna cut them. And then the other one is for the load equalizer, comes up here and hits this stop. All right, load equalizer installed. We'll just kind of tuck any loose wires around. Looks pretty good and secure, about the same as it was before. So let's go ahead and stick in our headlights and finish this side up. Okay, so here's our 9005 high beam. If you get them confused, it actually says it on there. So you can always double check it. They have an integral fan, so all the heat that this produces is getting sucked through these fins and air flowing through them. So we'll just take that and clip it into our high beam side. That looks like it will go on either way. I don't believe it's a problem for these headlights, which is interesting. Again, wiping everything off with a rag and trying our best not to get fingerprints on all this stuff that gets hot. And let's go in and rotate. I can just use some of those handy zip ties that came with the load equalizer here and just throw a zip tie on here to keep that away from our hot components. Low beam 9006, and these do have different size tabs on them, so it is kind of like a one-way installation. There we go. All right, so now we got that guy in. See where it might make sense to zip tie this one, just so it's not completely laid up against it. All right, so we got our lights all ready to go. This guy's ready to be installed. Once again, we'll take this guy, come in here at an angle, and slide it into place. We got a little tab right there that we want to make sure lines up, goes in. So it's setting in place right now. Let's hook it up and just give it a quick check before we bolt everything up. Appears to be working right. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a 2-stage for blinkers on. When the parking lights are on or not, low beam looks good, high beam looks good. Whole package looks amazing compared to what it looked like with those old bulbs. All right, so now we're just gonna repeat that whole process on the other side and come back to you when we've got that part wrapped up and are ready to finish up this job. So now we can just go ahead and finish bolting everything in here. 8mm on top. We'll just get these started and not snugged until we have everything lined up. And then the 8mm that comes in from the front. All right, we've got those guys both in there. And that's the under fender part complete. Again, much easier if you have the lift kit. I'm going to do that with you over there so I can hold the light in place to make sure it's all where I want it on my fender and everything. As I tighten it down. Left side's complete.
I'm gonna move over and do the other side and get back with you when we're ready to slap this thing back together.
We've completed this side as well, and it's time to pop the grill back on. And this is pretty simple, folks. Line up these tabs, get those tabs all started, and then just give it a push, pop it in. That one didn't want to go, so we'll help it. Make sure the tab is in there, and those are clipped. And then you can hear those back there kind of going in. Pop the bottom, make sure it's in. There we go. Now we're in. There we go. Those are the sounds we like to hear, crunching plastic. 7 of the ones we removed plus the extra 4, so 11 total in there. And it doesn't necessarily hurt to just get in there and give those guys a push to make sure that they're all seated. And that is how you complete that job. And now we have full-on frontal LEDs to match the beautiful lights in the back. Absolutely love these spec-d lights, front and rear. These might be harder to see, they're out here in the sun, but they look so good. So anyways, guys, that is a job complete. Pretty easy to do. If you want to upgrade your Titan or Armada to LEDs in the headlights, one thing I'll point out, it does say that they're for off-road use only. You just ignore that. This is not an endorsement. Toss those in the trash. The boxes, that is. And the old bulbs. We don't really need these anymore. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Please reach down there and subscribe if you're not already. Give us a like, and we'll catch you again on the next one. Take care.